nonprofits, many right here in the tri-state, know the importance and the challenges of seating board members who will get things done and do it with energy and commitment. Well, here was some great advice on recruiting the best board members possible. James Mueller, the author of Onboarding Champions, the 7 recruiting principles of highly effective nonprofit boards. Welcome to Lifestyles, James.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we were chatting just a minute before we came on the board, talking about being on boards and wanting to get things done. And sometimes we're just stuck by, I don't know, what is it, lack of energy, lack of a commitment, lack of vision?
Yeah. I think you nailed it. Lack of energy and commitment. There's so much, especially in the nonprofit sector, where there's so many things demanding your time. It really takes a discipline and a commitment and an epiphany that you should be focusing on these principles to get the right board in place.
And who do we look to when you're out there recruiting? Is it the executive director? Is it the search committee? I mean, who are the people who really have the pressure of finding those just right people?
Yeah, I think it's the board's responsibility to do that as an ongoing practice. The executive director often falls into the role of a supporter to help people connect to the right processes and practices. But it's that ongoing process of looking for the right people. But I often describe it as when recruiting for boards, it's like who's the closest person that we can reach out to that'll say yes, rather than thinking about what are we looking for, right? Who's in arm's length? What do we need? What's going to change the character of our board? What's going to take us to the next level? And what's the two most important things that I ask people to focus on is character and competence. Do these people have the character, and are they competent? Look beyond business acumen, right, to really what do we need? Deliberative thinking. I say a sense of humor is really important as well. Knowledge, a whole host of things that one should consider when developing a profile, so you know what you're looking for, not by default.
Right. Well, to give us a little bit of your history, because you don't learn these things in a vacuum. So what experience have you had in the past that has led you to these 7 principles?
I'm afraid it's been too many years. Back in, well, I was in college. I served as a summer intern at a nonprofit in upstate New York, where I grew up. And I saw how boards were filled with really good people, as you mentioned at the top, that have really good intentions. But I watched that no one helped them understand what their job is. And after graduate school, I went to college, then graduate school, and came back into the sector. I was doing program development for youth. And I saw the same thing occurring. There were lots of good, well-intentioned people, but not really understanding or educated about what governance is and how to do it well. So I spent about 30 years in the sector, mostly in higher education, healthcare, and somewhat in the social service, before moving into consulting. And just saw over and over in my interactions with the boards that they really need to pay attention to figuring out who you need that's going to be most effective for you on your board, how to recruit them, and then how to onboard them in a way they can make contributions, because that character piece is really important.
Oh, it truly is. I just can't emphasize that enough. So in your book, any board can get this book and learn the things to help them as they go forward to choose and seat a board.
Yeah, and I want to point out one stellar organization, and that's the Girl Scouts of America. I served on their governing board for the council in Southeast Florida, and they have a really stellar practice that people should follow. I'd call it a best practice. When I was asked to serve on the board, they gave me a complete recruitment packet that I had to fill out. They checked my references. I interviewed with the CEO and the board chair, and they also did a background check. So I was a somewhat prominent member in the community, and they were still doing a background check and looking at all of checking my references to make sure that I was the person that I said I was. And it didn't offend me. That made me feel like they really cared about character. And I think sometimes nonprofits step back a little because they don't want to risk offending someone, when I think it would be the opposite. You're showing that you're leading with character.
It's so important, so important. James, let our audience know how they can lay their hands on your book.
Sure. It's on Amazon, Onboarding Champions, the 7 recruiting principles of highly effective boards. And also my website is my first initial, J, and my last name, Mueller, at jmuellerassociates.com. So that's the place to reach me.
I have enjoyed our conversation. I wish we had more time. Please come back and join us again.
All right. Thank you very much.
And we'll be back with more local lifestyles right after this. Stay with us.